So yeah, so I start the recording. So we have completed the exercise, which is on page number uh, 147, wherein we have added one customer, one vendor, uh, and we also add products and services and the one bank account in our QuickBooks. Today we'll be starting how to edit the preferences. So this is my practice. It is it is your way, like whatever the way you want to work with. But my practice, I always like my all of these icons on the top of the screen. I don't like on the left side because I have some other information. If I move on the top, on my right side, I can see my balances. So let me put the icons on the top. So now you can see, I can see my balance and everything will be appearing on the right side. That give me more clear picture of some of the accounts that I'm using most of the time. So let's start working with the exercise, which is on page number 149. Uh, we are working with how to edit some preferences if you want to. So simply you need to go to edit. I told you that find, search, and preferences. These three items you will always find in edit option. Okay. So click it. And then you find all of these three items here: find, search, and preferences. Find and search when you're trying to find or search any customer's transaction or vendor's transaction. And preferences is if you want to make some changes in your QuickBook. You can say use, let's say if you want to make some changes in the views or something, like I told you that you can, in our chart of account, see there's no numbers. If your company wants the assets liability numbers on the left side as well, so you can also do that. But like one is your assets, two is your liabilities, and then it keeps on going. So you can also do that part as well. But uh, for the time being, we'll go with the exercise. What are the changes the exercise want us to make change, and then we work with that one. So let's start working with this one. So edit, we go to edit and then go to preferences. So here we, again, the same thing, like they want to use the account numbers. So account numbers are in accounting. Just click the accounting. And then it is not our preferences, it is the company preferences, whether they want to have the account numbers available with the balance sheet items or not. So let's say for this exercise, they want to have the numbers before the items. So we can just click company preferences and just click use account numbers. So what we have learned here, if you want to create the account numbers, or if you want to have the account numbers, or you can say the numbers for our different accounts, like assets, liabilities, equity, or you can say the expenses, income. So so you can use accounting option here, and using the company preferences, and just check mark this button, and your account number will be available. So just you can just click OK. Okay, so before making it finalized, we want to make some more changes. The next part is reminders. So if you go to reminders, so once you select reminders, you see it says, do you want to make changes finalize, or you want to save the change? Select yes. And now we are in the reminders. So let's see what reminders in this exercise we need to make. Show reminder list when opening a company file checkbox. So uh, if you go to my preferences, and in this one, you see it says show reminders list when opening a company file. What happens? Sometimes we have to we have to pay some of the bills, or we have to receive or send the reminders to our customers. All of these things, like which payment is pending for payment, and what are the receivables that we have to send reminders or receive payments from different customers. So we create reminders. So if you keep on working, because normally when we, as an accountant or as a bookkeeper, when we are working, we have a lot of things to do. So if we don't remember something, we may skip the due dates. I'm sorry. So for those purposes, we need to see that whenever we are opening the account, or whenever we are opening the company's account in the QuickBook, it gives us the reminders, so that we work on those reminders first, and then we start our day. Or at least we know that these things we need to finish before the end of the day, right? So just click show reminders, and then okay. And then here we'll be closing the company so that we can see how it will look like. So just click the close company, and then it's closed. So just in case, if you are for as per the exercise, if just in case if the backup ask you to do the backup right now, like so you don't have to select yes. Why? Because it will back up the system or this application, or you can say whatever the numbers you have inserted in this exercise. It will create a backup of this exercise, but we don't need it right now. This is required when you are really working in a real office environment. Otherwise, it will just save, or you can say use your hard disk space. So right now you don't need it. And then we'll be opening this company one more time. So again, click open. And once you click open, you have to give the password. Once you give password, click OK. And now you are in the company file again. So here you find this, you see, you got the reminders here. Today is this date. So uh, like it will give all the reminders that are due or upcoming. It will be appearing in this screen. But right now, because we have not done any transaction, there is nothing to remind. So it's right now it's blank. So the next thing is like we need to make some changes again in the you can say the preferences. So you can also go from here like edit and preferences, but you can also go there using the gear icon. Both of these are same. So just to give you the idea that just in case if you have closed it by mistake, because book want you to click the gear icon, just in case if you closed it by mistake, don't worry, you can always click the edit and preferences and you'll be in the same screen. So what other information we are working with is so yeah, so we have already clicked that part. Here it says go to my preferences and then uncheck it. They want us to uncheck it because they don't want us to see it again. The next thing is the spelling. So they want us to make some changes in the spellings. So it's all in alphabetical order. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to search for it like all the time. Always go with this alphabetical order. So spelling comes after here. So spelling is here. Just click it. So it will be asking you that do you want to save the changes you made? Of course, that's why we make the change. So save it. And this one, it says always check spelling before printing, saving, or sending supported forms. So just click. So here we need to say. So here the system, as per the exercise, they want us to uncheck it. Why? They don't want the system to remind us these things. But let's say if you are working in a real office environment, it's your choice whether you want to keep it or you don't want to keep it. But right now, as per the exercise, they want to make it off. So I have just uncheck it. So if you check something, it means whatever is written here will be working in that way. If you uncheck it, that thing will not be happening. Just in case, like here it says, always check spelling. So if you check it, then it will be start checking it. If it is here, like don't check, don't do spell check, something like this. And if you check it, then it will do that part. So whatever is mentioned here, if you check it, then it will perform that job. If you uncheck it, it will not perform that job. So right now, as per the exercise, we want to uncheck it so that spell check can be off. So right now we have off it. And then click accounting. So once you click accounting, it will again tell you that do you want to save this spelling preferences? Say yes. And then in this one, in the company preferences, if you go there, there are some information like one, if transactions are 30 days. So if you don't want it, right now we are doing it because all of our exercises are in the future. Like today we are in 2020, but we are doing exercises for 2023, like as per the exercise book. So we are making it off because whenever if we do not make it off, whenever we do a transaction, it will always give us that the transaction is in future date. So we want to off that reminder or warning. So we are unchecking it so that we can do the transaction without getting this warning window. So once you click it and then click OK, and it's all done. So you can close it from here. That's it. And then once it is done, you can maximize it or you can work with it. So now we have completed how to work with the edit or how to work with the preferences. Next topic is how to customize a company file. So again, either you can go here on the lists and then select the item list. So what are the item list? All those services, or you can say your non-inventory items, or if you are selling inventory, then the inventories will be part of the items and services. So right now you can click from here and then you'll be in this place. So all of your services will be part of this page. But just in case, this is as per the book. But if you like, you can also click from this space, and then you can click place at this one, and then you'll be in the same place where you can update the services or non-inventory part, or let's say inventory items for your company. So what we are doing here is we are creating some new item. Again, if you want to create a new item, the same way we have done in the customers or vendors, either you can go to edit option. Now you are in items and services. I don't see it because of my meeting window, but I know that you'll be seeing on the top the items and services. So once you click the edit button, you'll be finding all the options about the items, like edit item, new item, duplicate item, or delete item. So all of these options are available here. You can also see the same way like we have done in the customers or vendors part, or when we were working with the chart of account. If we want to click, if we can also do it with the right click, and then you see new item is already there. Edit item, duplicate item, other buttons are also there, but because I have not selected anything, so it was not available. But let's say if I highlight it and do it, then you can see all the new edit duplicate item are available with this one. Another way, like we have seen that the similar way, like from like we have done for the customers or vendors, either you can go to edit button and then you can just select, or you can right click and select the same way. The third option is from the downside, like in the customers and vendors, we can actually like we have the option of doing the same thing using the new button or new customer, new vendor on the top of the screen. Here we have it in the downside of the screen. So you can see if I click it, I have the same information available, like new item, edit item, or duplicate item, or whatever the item I want to add in. So here we are actually adding some new items. So new, and what we are adding a service. So we have to select the service here. Name of the item is 310 Suite 16 base package. 310 Suite 16 base package. And then we have to put the description. The description is live turntable, live turntable, two DJs, two DJs, two DJs, basic light show, one photo booth, 1 hour, right? So we have put the description and the rate is 150. Okay. And then whatever the income come from this service, we have to put it in our balance sheet. So where will you putting this income? In our balance sheet, it will be in the sales income, because this is our services that we are selling. So whatever we'll be earning from this one will be going to our sales income. Select sales income, click OK. So now we'll be again going to the list, and we will be creating some profile of our customers. So we can again go to the lists, customers and vendor profile list. And then in this one, customer type list. So we are creating some list for our customers. So we have seen that we have created, or there are some in the previous exercise, we have seen that from advertisement, referral, retail, or wholesale was already there. So now we are trying to see how to create another profile for a customer or a vendor. Simply, you can just go to the customer type downside, and then you can just click new. So just to give you the idea, it is not the case, it is not the reason, but just to give you the idea how you can remember it. Of say customers and vendors, whenever you are trying to work with those, you are always selecting from the top, like because you are working with the living things. But when you are trying to make something about your business items or services or balance sheet, these are non-living things. So you are always selecting the options from the downside, just to give you the idea, if you so that you remember that part. So again, you see, we have not when we are working with the list and like items and services, we have chosen the new item from the downside of the screen, and here again we are again selecting it from the downside of the screen. Click new, and here we are selecting, like we have the customer type is website. Click OK. So now another uh, like type of you can say uh, type for the customer is created. Now we'll be doing customizing the chart of account. So again, if you want to do the chart of account or making some change in the chart of account, you have to go into the chart of account. But let's see how the exercise tell us to be there. Okay. So now we are on page number 156. To make changes in the chart of account, you can just click chart of accounts from here. And in this one, we are actually making, you see, once we created the numbers, like account numbers, it has created some of the numbers here, but some of the items we created manually. And for those, system doesn't know what type of item it is. It knows that it is income or it is asset, but it asks us to create those items by ourselves. So we created one checking account. So for that checking account, we are actually trying to give it a number. So if you want to make anything, for this one, let's say, as I told you in before, uh, whenever you are working with the customers or vendors, your selection will be in the downside. For non-living thing, it will be for customers and vendor, it will be on the top side, and for a non-living thing, it will be on the downside. The same way you have the selection here. The other way of doing it is the right click, and the other way is clicking the edit button. So you see, working with QuickBooks is very easy. Similar way of doing it, previously you were in the items and let's say items and services, so it was giving you option of making changes for the items and services. Now you are in balance sheet item, like you are in the chart of account, so it's giving you option to make changes in the chart of account. So let's start working. Either you can click here and then you can edit it, because you have already selected checking account, or you can also do the right click and then you can select the edit account, or you can also select from the downside and then click the edit accounts. All of these three will work the same way. So here we are giving number to this account, so that is 10,000. And then we are updating the detail of this account, checking account. We are changing the name to Metropolis Checking. So this part is very important. Whenever you are working with more than one checking account, make sure that you put the bank name also. Let's say if you are working with, let's say you are working with one bank and you created 2 or 3 bank checking accounts in that one. One is for your salaries, one is for your expenses, the other one is for your recoveries. And let's say one account, you create one more account for your, let's say, uh, for some other purposes, like you are creating, you are working with multiple checking accounts. So you can also, after like typing the name of the checking account, you can also type like salary or something, or let's say expenses. So you know that this account, you once you are issuing the check for specific purpose, from the name of the account, you will know that from your from the once you open your account in your QuickBook, you will know that if you are paying for salaries, you will be using the right account, or when you are paying your expenses, you are using the right account, or if you are paying some of other expenses or some other reasons. So every expense or every type of expense will have the separate account, or sometimes you are collection, so you can also give a collection account, so that you get the right number once you are putting the money inside it. So let's say for this one, we have done it. Just in case, if you are also maintaining multiple checking accounts with different banks. So putting the number will make sure that you, once you issue the check against those account, uh, you will not be, let's say, you are not issuing a check for an account. Let's say your money is in Metropolis account, but by mistake you issue a check of Bank of America and it bounced. So it means it will impact your credibility. So always remember, if you put the number here and if your balances are in line with the actual bank balances, then uh, your checks will be like there are less chances of getting it bounced. So always remember, whenever you are working with multiple check account, make sure that you use the account name or the bank name for your like easy working in future. And then you have the description is company checking account. The routing number is 2468, 8 times 2 and 1 3. And then we have yeah, save and close. So we don't have further information about this account, so we are doing it save and close. Now we have another item that is inventory asset. It does not have the number, so we are updating the number for this one. So simply we are giving it a number 14,000. So just right click or edit account, or you can also go on the top, click and then edit account, or you can go all the way down and select the edit accounts. Anything will work. Just update the number, which is 14,000, and then save and close. Okay, so now we have another item, which is cost of goods sold. Right click, edit. And this time I use the right click. Previously I used the downside of the screen. And here we are giving it a number 50,000. And then description. Okay, so no description is here, so we can just simply save and close here. What else? Sales income. So sales income is here. And then again, it has 47,800. Right click, create account, and then 47,800. So I am just doing whatever the information I need to update in the exercise as per the book. So it's not like we are like you already learned it once we were working with the customers or vendors. Here we are just doing editing the account the way we have done it in the past. The only thing is, like, there are many transactions. That's why you may be feeling that I have done a lot, but it's the same way we have done before. Just say save and close, and it's done. So now you can see all of these are having numbers now. All the way, you can go all the way up. So now everything has a number. So once it is done, now we'll be deleting one account. So deleting, as I told you before, deleting an account is not a good idea. But as per the practice, or just to let you learn how to delete it, we are doing it. Otherwise, once we are working, we don't delete, we actually inactivate. So you see, make account inactive is the right way of doing, because whatever the account heads are, normally they are, there must be some transactions or history behind those heads. So always try to make them inactive. But let's say if you have just started a company and now you are making your balance sheet items properly, or you can say you are doing some of the information update. So what you can do, you can make the deletion or update these things for the start of the company. But once you start working with the same heads for, let's say, 3-4 years, then don't delete it. Why? Because there must be some history which is saved in this account. So always make them inactive. But if you want to delete it, it's very easy. So, like, we need to delete this Ask My account. You can always click edit and then click delete, or you can right click and then click delete, or you can also do from here. You have already selected the account that you want to delete, so you can just simply select delete and it can be deleted. So deleting is not difficult, but the only thing is we don't want to lose our data. So uh, that's why we are not deleting it. We are normally making the things inactive. So the next exercise is creating a new account. So we already have one account like created here, Metropolis checking account, but now we are creating Metropolis saving account. How you can do it? Go to edit and then you can just simply say new account, or you can come down, select new account, or you can just simply right click and then select new account. So all of these three will work the same way. So let me do this time edit option, because I have used this option and right click before. So this time I'll be using new account to create a new account. And then again, this part is very important to learn. We are creating savings account. Credit card is also done with the banks. Loans are done with the bank. So don't get confused. If you are ever confused, QuickBook also help you in understanding what type of account it will be. So let's say if you click here, you want to create savings accounts. If you see in this portion, it says for once you create this bank account, you'll be working with petty cash, checking account, savings account, or money market account, right? If you click loan, it itself is a loan. So we don't need to think about it like that. Create credit card. So you see, create one for each credit card your business uses. So it means it's again with the bank, but there are some other accounts as well. Let me see if we have here. So no. So let's say if you are working with any of these bank, sometimes we are working with the it's a confusion. Once you're working, you'll find that why I was telling you. Sometimes when you are asked to create one, uh, let's say money market account or something, you may become confused at what type of account it will be. So always remember, if you ever confused, don't select anything. First select one by one boxes, and then you will find those information in the right side of the screen. So let's say if you select this one, equity, it will tell you what it will be. If you select account receivable or whatever you are selecting, it will show you on the right side what it will bring you in that part. So instead of making wrong decision by mistake, always check on the right side whether the things that you are working with is the correct one or not. So right now we are creating one saving account. So click banking, click continue. It will create the bank account for you. And now you have to give the number. So number will be 10100. And then account name will be Metropolis Saving. Metropolis Savings. And then the description is company savings account. Right. And then we have the number, which is 454545. So it is 45454545. And the routing number is same. Just in case, if you are working, let's say you are bringing the data from the manual ledgers or registers to this company, then it means you have some balance available on such and such date. So you can always put that opening balance in this place. Here we're putting the balance as of such and such date, from which date you are transferring the data into the computers, like on the QuickBooks, and what date it was when you transferred the data. So let's say if you are starting of working from the 1st of January, then you'll be writing here like this was the balance on 31st of December to 2019, and then you can start working then onward. So whatever the closing balance of that day will become the opening balance of 1st of January. So that's how it works. Cancel, because we don't have to update this information right now. And then you can just simply say save and close. So you see, you have created one bank account. So it will be always asking you to like live feed from the bank. So we are selecting no, because we are already exercising. And one more thing, as I know, QuickBook stopped working online with the QuickBooks 2016. So uh, the more we are going towards online system, so we are like QuickBook is stopped, you can say, supporting the online version of the desktop. But yes, for the 2016 version, they already stopped working for the live feed. So just select no. Then we have create expense sub account. So now we have created the accounts, it's like different type of account. Now we are just creating some of the sub accounts for our expenses. So we have the telephone expense here. We can see from here telephone expense. So let's say this is my expense that I was paying my electric telephone bills. But if I keep all of my utility bills separately, then I have to control them as a separate item. What I can do, I can monitor all of my utility bills under one head, which is like utilities, and I can put all of them as a sub account of utilities. So I will know that if I want to see how much I'm spending on my utilities, I'll know the total. At the same time, if I want to see the bifurcation or separate amount of each, I can select one by one. I can have those numbers as well. So we are making this one as the sub account of utilities. So that's very easy. Simply either you can right click and click the edit account, or you can edit from the top, click the edit account, or you can, because you have already selected the telephone expense, you just need to click the edit account from anywhere. So let's say if I go for it from here, it's edit account. And then you see, you just need to select sub account of, and then you can select here utilities. That's it. Once you select it, it's in the description. Okay. So this is done. And then you see, we are making it 68,600. So yeah. So because we have made it the sub account of 68,600, and it does have a number of 68,100. So we want to make it make the numbers in line with the sub account. So you see, it is 68,600. So it has to be a number which is showing this value. So we are making it 68,610. That's it. So once you're done, just say save and close. Right? Or we have to make some more changes. Yeah, so that's it. So save and close. So we have created telephone expense as a sub account of utilities. The next thing we are doing here is we are creating one more utility transaction, which is for the electricity bill. So how we can do that? Either we can go on the top and select new account, or we can just simply select new account from here, or we can do new account from this place. Everything will work the same way. Just to avoid the confusion, I am doing this time with the right click. So right click, new account. And this time I am making an account for my electricity bill. So electricity, once I use it, it becomes my expense. I have to pay my bill. So it will be an expense account. And then you see, as soon as I select expenses, it tells me advertising, office supplies, insurance, legal fees, charitable contribution, rent, and all others there. So you can just select the expense, whatever type of expense you are doing, and then click continue. Let's click more. So it will show you more, but that will be outside of the screen. Here you can see it is giving us what type of expenses it can cover. So here, and then you can just simply click continue. Right now, we don't go into those further details, but we know that electricity bill is an expense. So we can just directly go to the continue, and then it is created. So here we are again doing the same thing. The number is, this will be a sub account of 68,600. So the sub account will be 68,620, because 10 we created for telephone, and the account name is electric. And then we have, we make it sub account of our utilities. So just simply select it, select the utilities, and then description, electricity to run office. Right. Once it is done, just say save and close. That's it. So now you created two items as the expense account. Now we are creating some, like we have created some of this for some of our sales income, like in the items and services. Now we will make all of them as a sub account of our sales income. Right now, if you remember, let me show you here, items and services. So you see all of them are coming as a sales income. But in the balance sheet, when it comes as a sales income, you will not know whether you are earning more using a corporate based package, or you are earning more using the like selling your wedding based packages, or you are making more in the birthday party. So you don't know these information unless you create all of them as appearing in your balance sheet as well. So this is what we are learning, or this is what we are doing here. So again, in the chart of account, select the account, click new. In this one, that will be our income account. Why? Because these are the source of our income. So we just make it as an income account. And then you can see here, income account is covering the product sales, service sales, discounts to customers. All of these things will be updated from here. So you can just simply click continue. So here comes the account. So now we are actually working with the 47810 as my income account, and the account name will be weddings. And it will be our sub account of sales income. Right? So now you see we have one account, sales income, that covers all different type of businesses we are doing. Now we are segregating, we are making weddings as a sub account of sales income. So if we earn something using our services for wedding, that will be part of our wedding part. So that's how we are creating different accounts for this thing. And then in the description, just type all indoor wedding services. All indoor wedding services. And then you can just say save and new, because we want to create more. We have 3 items that we have created. One is the wedding, the other one is corporate, the third one is birthday party. So we are creating those things. Save and new. The same way, you see, because we have not selected save and close and open again, it is automatically selected that I want to go with the income. But if you want to make an expense account here, you can also select expense account or whatever you want to select from here. Okay, so here we are creating another income account, that is 47820, and the account name is corporate events. And it will be the sub account of, again, sales income, all indoor corporate events. So whatever I'm typing here in the description or the name of the account is from the book. So you don't have to be confused. Like if you have, if you don't have the book, then you will not know what I'm typing. But all the information that I'm typing here, or I'm selecting for the sub account, these are all in the book, right? So yeah. And then you can just say save and new, because we have one more item to create, and that is 47830. And that is for the birthday parties, like sweet 16 something. Right? And then we have, it's a sub account of, again, the sales income, because this is the services we are selling. And we have it as all indoor sweet 16. Right? So here we have done, and then you can again click save and close. And here you can see all of your 3 income heads are now coming under sales income. Like sales income will be covering for the weddings. When you are seeing your income statement, you'll be seeing that this money is coming from weddings, or this money is coming from the corporate events, or this coming from the sweet 16 parties. So once it is done, now we'll be doing what we have done. We have created some of the items in our items and services, and we have also created some of the items in the chart of account. So they are both separate items, and we have marked all of those previous items into the sales income. Now what we are doing, we are segregating them. Like whatever the money coming from the weddings will be going not in directly into the sales income, but in the weddings. Whatever the money coming from the corporate events, don't go into the sales income, rather go into the corporate events. The same for the field 16. So let's open this the items and services, and then you see you have put everything in the sales income. Now you are actually putting them into the balance sheet in the right, or you can say the income statement in the under the right income. So 110 corporate base, again right click, edit item, and then you see it's a corporate package. So you can also select here 47820 corporate base, right? So once you select it, click OK. Click yes. And then the same thing, the wedding base package, click like right click. The same thing, like if you are clicking, if you are editing something, you have the three ways. Either you can go on the top, select the edit item, or you can right click and edit the item, or you can select the edit item from the downside. So let's say if I'm changing it from here, edit item, and then again, previously it was sales income, but sales income is a very vast where all of the income from different sources are coming in here. We want to make it because it's a wedding package. So all the income from wedding should go into the wedding income in our income statement. So I'm just selecting it and then selecting the weddings. That's it. And then click OK. And then system will prompt you that do you want to update the existing transaction? Say yes. And the last one is again edit item. And this one also, it's a 316 base package. So again, it was coming in the sales income. Select it, select 316 and then click OK. And it will be updated. So once you update all of this into their respective heads, you see whatever the income coming in the chart of account. Previously, everything would be coming in the sales income, like in your income statement. But now every income will be coming into their specific head. So the total of all of these three will be there. Like you will see the total in this place, but at the same time, you will know that how much you earn from each of these different items as well. So we have updated this part. So now we are actually adding some of the classes. So again, if you want to make some classes for your customers or products, so you can do it from here. So go to edit and go to preferences, edit and preferences. In the accounting company preferences, you can say use class tracking for transactions. So what will happen? The type of transaction you have done, like for your customers or like different type of transactions, whatever you are doing, will be you can track them separately as well. So let's select this part and then click OK. So once you do the transaction, you will know what I'm talking about. Okay. So let's select this one, and then we are doing we are making some class. So again, you can always go to the lists, and then you can also click in the class list. Here we are creating two classes. So again, if you want to create a class, go all the way down and then create new, edit, new, right click, new. Again, because we are creating class, which is a non-living thing, we can have the option in the downside. Just to give you the idea, just to make you remember this part all the time. If you are working with the customers or vendor, you got the option on the top. Here you are working with some of the like classes, or let's say your items and services or balance sheet items, then you find the adding, editing option in the downside of the screen. So right now we are creating a new class. So just click it and then click new. We just need to give the class name, nothing else. So let's say we are giving it as a corporate event. Click OK. And this is created. So we are creating another class which is private. So you can just simply click again class, new, and this one I am saving it with the name of private, and then click OK. Right. So now I have created two different type of classes in here, and now type of customers, and then we'll be doing a transaction using the class option, and then see how you can get the different reports using those class options. So let's create one invoice. How you can create an invoice? Just simply like we have learned in the previous exercise. Just click the create invoice option. So in this one, customer job is Caitlin Landon. So name of the customer is Caitlin Landon. And in this one, the class is private. And then, so what we are doing here is we are unchecking it. Why we are unchecking it? Because we want to make it off. Otherwise, it's automatically being saved. But right now we are unchecking it so that it become not available. So now we can work further, which is like the date is 01/14/23. 01/14/23. We are selling 210 wedding base package. So if you start typing the name, automatically will get the options 210, and how many? The quantity is 5. So we got the value, and then we are selling one more item, which is 310. 310. The quantity is 4. And then we have 7 new. So we have one more transaction. So we are doing 7 new. You can also select here the custom message. Thank you for your business. And you can also type here like name of the customer, which is Landon, right? And then you can type here like wedding and sweet 16. So that will remind you that what transaction it is, invoice 1. So you will remember that it is against the invoice number 1. And then you can just simply say save and new. Or if you have only this transaction, then you can say save and close. But we have some more transactions, so I'm just clicking save and new. For this one, we are typing Jacobs. The name of the customer is Jacobs. Jacobs. Michael. So once I click it, this customer was not in my data. So I can just simply click it. Yeah. And then the date of the transaction is 01/18/23. Invoice number 2. And here we are selling 210 wedding base package. Again. And then the price is, sorry, quantity is 5. So class is private. So first line, we are putting the class as private. And then go forward. The next item is 110 corporate base package. Tab. And then you have the other class, the quantity is 3. And here we have the corporate. So here comes corporate. So what we are doing here, we are trying to segregate the classes. Let's say, just to give you the idea, what we have done. Caitlin Landon has actually done the transactions, which are both as a private customer. Jacobs Michael or Michael Jacobs, maybe a person who is actually doing two events. One is for the office, one is for his personal. So he just make one as private, the other one is corporate. So you can also segregate the transaction done with the same customer, but in different capacities, so that you can, like you can see here, one transaction was done as a corporate client, one is done as a private customer, so that you can, once you are downloading a report, you will see how much business you have given to the private customers, how much business you have given to the corporate client. So that will give you a little bit difference between the type of business you have got. So corporate event, once it is done, then in the custom message, you can type here, thank you for business. And in the memo, you can type Jacob's wedding. Jacob's wedding, February 4. Corporate event, January 20. So it will give you the idea once you are in future, if you are trying to track the transaction with the memo, you will get the idea that how this transaction was done. And then save and close. So once you are done with the transaction, you can just simply say save and close, because you don't have more transactions to update. Now you are going to reports and you are trying to download a report about your business. Let's say you have done only two transactions, like two customers transactions. And now let's say you want to do download a report like profit and loss account or something, using the, you can say a type of, or you can say the class of the business. So you can just go to that reports, and then because you are trying to do or see your profit and loss account, so you can go to your profit and loss. And then in this one, you see you are trying to see by class, like you want to see which one is what business you have got from your corporate clients, what business you have got from the private customers. So you can go to the profit and loss by class. And then you can see here it gives us nothing because it is as of today, today's date. But you can always select you can always customize the transaction, selecting the custom, and then you can put the date, like as of you can say, let me make it 2023 manually, it will save time. And then you can come here and you can also type here 12/31, because we have done all the transaction in 2023, so I have updated that thing here. And then you can see your transaction is showing here the corporate event and here the private event. One more thing, I have done it manually. You can also, because we have only done the transaction 2023, apart from customize, you can also do see the transaction if you select the all button here. So it's your choice how you want to see, because we have only done these transactions. So I show you both the ways. Either you can customize the dates and then see the transactions, or you can select all and it will show you the transactions as well. But let's say if you're working in a real company, all will give you the numbers from the past as well. So always remember, try to make it customize and then select the dates from which date to which date. That will give you the right numbers, or you can say the right desired information. So yeah, so we have done this thing. Now the next part is we are updating. I don't want to save any reports here, so I'm selecting no. Okay. So now we have now we are updating some of the information about the check register. So if you remember, we have let me show you this part. So we have in the checking account like 45,000. So now we realize that it was not 45,000, it was by mistake. We have to update it with the 40,000. So this is what we are doing. So if you are trying to update that part, you can always you can go to the banking, and in the banking you can just what we are trying to do, check register. So you have to go to the check register here and then click. We want to go to this account. Which account is it? Check register, checking register. Okay, so we have to go to this checking account. So click OK, and you are in this account. Always remember, it is not necessary that you go with this way. You can also, I was trying to show you before, but I wanted to show you with the book. So you can also do that part from here, chart of account, and then Metropolis checking. So if you double click, you are on the same screen. So it's your choice how you want to come inside this space. So let's do it from the as per the exercise. So check register, click it. And then click OK. So now in this one, we have a deposit of 45,000. System is telling us to change it to 40,000. Always remember, this is not a good practice, but just for the sake of correction or for the sake of learning, we are doing it. We don't make changes like this one in the real business. 40,000. So once you update it, click tab, and then tab, and then tab. Before making, I just want to do one more thing. I'm sorry. So let me show you one more thing. See, system is smart. This is what I wanted to show you. Your opening balance was 45,000. So system is also given you the balance equity as 45,000. So now what we are learning, we are making some changes in the checking account. So let me make changes here. $40,000. Click tab and then click record. So system is telling you that this is not the right thing. Of course, it is not the right thing, but system is still asking you that, do you really want to go with this transaction? We are doing it because we are working as per the exercise, but always remember, don't make changes in the accounting like this, because most of the frauds happen this way. So always avoid it. If you want to make some changes, make another transaction, and in that transaction, show what has happened in the past day and adjust the entry. Don't make the entries like by changing the numbers in the past days. So once it is done, just do you want to save your changes? Like yes. And now you see your opening balance has become 40,000. So once it is done, and then close it, it's already done. And then if you open your chart of account, and then you'll see, because you have changed your checking account as 40,000, see your equity has become 40,000 as well. So system is taking care of that part. So you don't have to worry about it. System is already, you can say, keeping an eye on how much you start with your equity. So how much was your balance at that specific day, and then it is already updated in the equity part. And this is the only thing that the book is actually telling you, and we have already covered that part. So now let's take a like 5-10 minutes break, and then we'll start at 6:45. Is it okay?
Okay.
So let's start working at 6:45.
Okay.
Recording. So we have one more transaction in the chart of account. If the chart of account, we have done the last transaction with the checking account. If it is open, it is fine. Otherwise, you can always open the chart of account again one more time, clicking this chart of account button on the on your desktop. So once you have it, once you open it, let me minimize the screen of the meeting. Okay. So now we are making one more update, which is in the Metropolis saving account. We are making the opening balance for this account. So how we can do that? Just simply double click. And then in this one, we are updating this part, like the date is 01/03/23.
Can you give me some phone? Okay, bye.
Then it's opening balance. I put the date in the wrong place. Let me correct it. we have account is opening equity. Opening balance. In the deposit, we can type here. Let me see if the account is already there, because it says there is no account. Sorry. Opening balance equity, it is here. And then I was typing it in the pay account. It was my mistake. And then in the memo, we can just type the opening balance. And then I can just simply type here 30,000. So you have changed. So previously it was recorded, but instead of putting the money, I just click it and then it has recorded a transaction. That's why it has given us the message of, do you want to record your changes? But otherwise it would have saved the $30,000 automatically. I'll just say yes. And now it has saved my deposit. So again, once it is saved, I can close it. And if you see here, my equity has been increased from 40,000 to 70,000. What happened previously, whatever we are adding up in the accounts, they're automatically updating in the equity side. Why? If you remember, when we were working with our first day, I told you that whatever you are doing at the asset side, it has an impact on the liability and equity side. So we don't have any liability here. So automatically that money that we are adding up here are becoming the part of our equity. So now we will making a few like journal entries, and that will be starting from the company. So let's start working with the double entry transactions, which the button for it is in the company. You click it, and then in this one you have to use the option of make journal entries. So now in this one, what we are trying to see is we are making one entry on dated 01/03/23. It's already selected, and then it will be in the account receivable. Like here, select account receivable, which is 11,000, and we are debiting 20,000. And that will be, the memo will be total earned R. Wilson. So just to start up with, I just want to show you here one more information. Like here we are doing the journal entries for a transaction that has happened with Mr. R. Wilson. And in this one, we are trying to selling some of our services to this customer, and the customer is actually not giving us right away. He has taken the money on credit, buying our services on credit, and then once they give us the money back, or you can say once they give us money using check or any other way of payment, we'll be updating that part and reversing this account receivable. So we are learning how to do that part. So if you remember, I told you whenever you are, let me show you, just to give you the idea, in the very first class when we are discussing about the assets, I told you if your assets go up, your debit side, you will be updating it in the debit side, right? So I give you, I don't remember the right words, but I think I gave you some words to remember it. If you have it, like I forgot those words, but yeah. So whenever your assets are increasing, yeah, I give you this part. This is the right word I used. asset increase, then you use debit. So what I told you is use the word aid, AID. So when the asset is increasing, your debit side is increasing. So we are doing the same part here. So once uh, your receivable is increasing, like you give your assets to the customer on credit, so it means your account receivable is increasing. Account receivable is your asset side. So because it is increasing, you have updated in the debit side. And then memo is total earned R. Wilson. The name of the customer is Wilson Rosa. Wilson, comma, Rosa, tab, just quick add. And then because the person you are like you can see here account receivable. Account receivable means you will be getting the money. So you pay money to the vendors, you receive money from the customers. So because here you can see that it's a receivable, it means it's a customer. Click OK. And then you are updating the type of customer like this. It's a corporate event. So you can just select the corporate event and then click tab. So it's a double entry system. So if you are receiving something from someone, so it means you have paid something to someone. It's the same way like if I sell my goods to one customer, then they are giving me money. And let's say if I buy something from the vendors, I have to pay money to them. So it's a give and take. So give and take means here you can see the debit and credit. So if I get money from the customer, it means I have sell something to that customer. So here I'll be updating that part. What I have given to the customer, which is
No, I
the account is account corporate events 47. This is the services that I have sold to my customer. And then total earned from R. Wilson. Right. And name of the customer is again the same, Wilson Rosa. And of course, it's a corporate event. So you can just set C and then select it. So we have done this transaction. You can just simply select save and close or save and new. So here we are doing one transaction of creating a double entry for the services on you can say on credit. And then the next entry is to get the money from the customer. Let's say the customer give us money back. So now we are updating that entry. So the customer give us money on the 2nd of like in February, like after 1 month. And then again, now what we got is actually we got the check. We got the check or cash from the customer. So where we are updating that information of that check or money in our checking account. So we can just simply select Metropolis checking account where we got this money and then tab. This time again, Metropolis checking is an asset. So if you remember what we have done here, when the asset increase, we have to record it in debit. So the same way, checking account, my checking account, savings account, all of these are my assets. So it means my debit is increased. How much it increased? 20,000. Click that tab. The memo is total deposit. R. Wilson. So I either they give us by check or by cash. We got this money in our checking account from the Wilson account, and then Wilson Rosa. So we can just select the name of the customer, and then of course the type of customer was corporate event. So you can select here corporate event tab, and then you see you receive the money because you have against the receivable, like they have to pay you. Now they have paid you, right? So it means you created one account receivable, but now the account receivable will decrease because you already got that money. So your asset is decreasing. So it means you have to update that asset in the credit account. Once asset is increasing, you update it in the debit account. Once the asset is decreasing, you have to update it in the credit account. So again, you have account receivable that was here. So now you are putting it into the credit one. And then again, the same thing from here. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and then of course Control C. So that's I'm just copying pasting here. And we have got the information. Always remember, whenever you are the asset is increasing, it means debit. Once the asset is decreasing, it's credit. So you can see here when the account receivable was increasing, we have updated it in the debit account. But now, because now our account receivable is decreasing. Why? Because we already received the money. So once it is decreasing, so we have updated that amount in the credit side. So once you have done it, just say save and close. And that's how you can do the journal entries in the QuickBook. So always remember, if you want to do the journal entries in QuickBook, you have to go to the company. Just in case if your company wants you to do that part, you have to go to the company. And in that one, you have the option here, make journal entries. Okay. So the next thing we are doing here is if you want to add multiple customers, we have seen how to, I'm sorry, how to add a customer or vendor. So let's say if you want to add vendor, you go to the vendor center, either from here or from vendors from here, or you can also go to the vendors from the top side and click the vendor center. So there are three ways through which you can go to the vendor center, and then you can start adding the vendor the same way. Either click edit and then click new vendor, or you can select the new vendor from here, or you can right click and then select the new vendor. So the three ways we know already. But let's say if we have multiple vendors, it's not like one vendor, but we have to add multiple vendors at the same time. So let's do that exercise. So how we can do that? You can see that in the new vendor. Okay, the same thing is for the customers as well. So let me go with the customers. So customers, you can either go customers from here, or you can also go customers from this icon, or you can also go to the customer center using the customer centers option in the customers tab on the top. So in all the three ways, you can be in the same place. And if you want to add the customer, the same three ways, edit, and then you can select the new customer, or you can just right click and select the new customer, or you can select the new customer from here. But let's say if you want to add multiple customer, more than one customer at the same time. So normally different ways, there are different ways through which you can add the multiple customers. Either it's an Excel sheet, or you are typing it manually, but like not saving customer one by one. So all of these things are possible. So let's say if we are trying to bring the data from the Excel sheet, how we can do that? We need to make sure that whatever the data is in the Excel sheet is matching with our, let me close this thing. Okay, so like we need to make sure that all the, all the headings which are appearing in the in our QuickBooks is matching with the headings appearing in the Excel sheet. So this is what we are learning here. So the first option is available here, add multiple customers jobs or customers. You can also go from here, add or edit multiple customers, or you can right click and then you can go add or edit multiple customers. So there are three ways of doing the same thing as well. So let's do that part. First, let's open the multiple option. So add multiple customers. So once the screen open, you see you have the headings as name, company name, Mr. Miss, first name, middle name, last name, phone number, fax, and the list goes all the way on the right side until bill number 5. So the same way, we have once we have the exercise from the QuickBook, we also have one Excel file for this. So let's go to that one. Go to classes in progress. And so this is the place from where we are actually bringing our exercises for working. In the same place, if you go down, you will find one place where it says customers, customer list. So if you open it, right, And then if you restore it to this style, and then you can match the headings. So you can see name, company name, Mr. Miss, first name, middle initial, last name, main phone number, fax, alternate phone number. So these are all in sequence. So you don't have to worry about it. After fax number, I am matching the rest of the things. So let me open it again. So fax number, then alternate phone number, then email, then CC email, then bill to 1, bill to 2, then bill to 3. So we have bill to 4 and bill to 5. So I can just check from here. The next one is bill to 4 and bill to 5. So it means the sequence of the Excel sheet is same as a sequence in my QuickBook. So it's very simple. We have learned that part in our Excel exercises. We just need to copy all of these names. So select all the name first, and then go all the way right. Select all the sequence until the bill number 5. So for this one is actually bill number 5. But let's say if you want to make some changes, Control C, I'll show you in the QuickBook as well. So just Control C means copy. You can also copy from here, but let me, I have done it from the other way, using other way. So I want to add all of the names from this line, because in the previous line, there's like already the information is available. Like I have the names on the other 3 lines. Let's say if I don't have any name, I can I can select the first line. But right now I already have the 3 names here. I'll be selecting all the way very first line, and then I'll just simply click OK. It tells you that it will be updating all the details, copying down. So you can just simply click OK. And then you can right click and click paste. So now without typing or getting things manually done, all the data is in the right place, like name of the person, company name, their first name, last name, phone numbers. If you keep going right, you'll see that the email addresses, bill 1, bill 2, bill 3. So all of these information is already updated. So once it is done, you can just simply select save changes. 9 customers have been saved. So click OK and it's done. So once you have done it, just simply click close. So what we have learned here is like bringing data from Excel is like copying pasting from Excel here. QuickBook is very much copying pasting, like copy paste friendly. So you can always bring that part. So let's learn one more thing, which is we have done the customers. Now we'll be doing the same thing for the vendors. So how you can go with the vendors, I show you that you can always go to the vendors, either selecting this button on the desktop, or you can also click the vendors on your icons here, or you can always go to the vendors using the vendors tab on the top and then select vendor center. So once you're in the vendor center, the same way, nothing different. Either you can select edit and select add or edit multiple vendors, or you can select you can use the right click and then select add or edit multiple vendors, or you can select the new vendor and then select add multiple vendors. It's our choice which way we want to go with. So let's say if I go with the add or edit multiple vendors. So now the screen comes up the same way. So the only thing is like the last time I missed it to show you. So if you want to customize, let's say if you don't want fax, you can always like go with the customized columns. And then you can, let's say here you have fax. The same way we have done in the customized toolbar, if you remember, quick access toolbar. So if you don't want fax, you can just simply click fax and then remove it. Now you see it is not available here. If you want fax back, just select fax and then click add. And now it is at all the way down. So now you can bring it like after main phone number. So you can just select it fax, select the fax, and then click move up, move up, move up, move up, move up. I have not changed the screen so that I can show you that the fax was after the main phone number. So you can just simply keep going, move up, move up. And then we have main phone number. and then fax. Okay. So once I bring the things the way I want, I can just simply click OK, and then my things will be right. So now we are actually updating like the Excel, like we are updating the vendors from Excel sheet here. Very easy. The same way, go to your customer vendors Excel sheet, open it. Once you open it, you can also make sure that the name of the customers are in the same sequence as your QuickBook. So let me make sure as well. So first heading is vendor name. Here is the vendor name. Company name. The next name is company name. Mr. Miss, Mr. Miss. Then the first name, then middle initial, last name, then main phone number, fax, alternate phone number. So it means until here we are good. I can move it on the right side. So I have checked until alternate phone number. So I am good until here. Okay. So now I'll be opening it here. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is. So alternate phone number, then we have the email, then address 1, then address 2, then address 3, then address 4, then address 5. So it means all of the headings that I have in my Excel sheet are aligned with the headings in my QuickBooks. So I just simply select all of them, copying the same way. Let me maximize it so that you can see it all. So I'm going right. So I have selected the entire table, entire sheet. Control C, I can do that way, or I can also copy from here, minimize it, and then go all the way left. Always remember, don't paste it anywhere in the center because it will be, the entire data will be corrupted. Your fax number will be showing, let's say, name, or phone number will go into the fax number, so it will become disturbed. So always remember, because you have matched from first name to the last heading, so you have to make sure that once you have selected the first name, so you have to select the first name first, and then you can copy paste from here, and then just simply paste. So pasting is very easy. Either you can go to edit and then click paste, or you can right click and paste, and all the names are in their place. So that's how you can save, like copy or bring multiple customers or vendors from different places. You can do the same thing with your items and services, and you can also do the same thing for the for your chart of accounts as well. So I'm just showing you that the idea. So once you have done it, just simply select save and save changes. 9 vendors saved, click OK, and your data is transferred. Just click close. And now you can see your new customers are already appearing in the vendor center. So now we'll be adding multiple item lists. So if you want to add multiple items in the items and services, the same way, you can go to items and services and then edit, edit multiple items. If you have a list of items that you have already created, you can click it. And then you can just simply copy paste the same way that you have done in the customers and vendors. But right now for this exercise, we are not copying pasting. We are actually typing manually. So we will be learning that, let's say if we are working with the customers and vendors and we want to update multiple customers and vendors, we can also open one screen and then add all the customers together, all the vendors together. And then we can just simply say save changes and it will be saved. The same way for items and services, we can add multiple items and then we can say save and save changes. So here we are updating 100 corporate event. And that item is the income account of 47820. So you can just simply go all the way right and you can just simply select 47820. Then the next item is 200. Wedding event, wedding. And then it is 47810. So you can just go all the way right. Sorry. 47810. So weddings. For the another item is Sweet 16. Sweet 16. And then it will be our sub item of Sweet 16 47830. 47830. The next one is 400 photo booth. I missed to type this thing. 300. Okay. The 400 photo booth. 1 hour. The charges is $25 per hour. And this will be the part of our sales income. So we can just type your sales income. And another source of income will be 500, which is video 1 hour. Video 1 hour. The charges will be $50 an hour. And again, 478, it will be part of our sales income. So once you have updated multiple items here, you can just simply say save changes, and that's it. So it says that 5 service items are recorded. Click OK. And all of them are now saved. So now you can see all of these items are available here. So you see, we have created some items. Now we are updating them or clubbing them. Let's see, you can see here, I have a lot of corporate event, like one corporate event here, one is here. The same way I have the wedding here, wedding based package here, 16 here, 16 here. So I have multiple items appearing as separate. So what I can do, I can create one corporate event and all different type of corporate packages. I can update it under that one. So what I can do, I can just simply make this corporate event as my main event or main service, and under that one different specific heading. Let's say when we go to Walmart or somewhere, we go to the stationery area where we see the pens. So in the pens area, like let's say we are trying to buy pen, and within the pen we can see different brand pens available. So the similar way, we are updating all of those parts in here. So what we are doing here is actually we are editing, like making the sub item. So 100 corporate event will be our main item, and I am making this one as a sub item. So I edit item. You see, this one is blank right now. I can select this one and make it a part of this one was corporate base package. So I'll just make it corporate event sublimit and then click OK. So now you can see whatever I'll be earning from here will be going to my sales income here. The same way with the wedding, I can select it, right click. And again, I am doing right click, but you can also go to the top and then click edit. Or you can also come down in this place, and then after selection, let's say if you are selecting this one, you can come to down this place, and then you can select edit. I'm doing right click. I'm very, very used to of the right clicking. So yeah, right click and then click edit. And here I can select what type of sub item it will be. So let me make it, this one is wedding based package. So I just make it a sublimit of wedding and click OK. The same way with this package, this will be my Sweet 16. So I'll be just making this one as edit and then make it a sub item of Sweet 16 package and click OK. So what I did, I just created, because I already have the charges for these services. So I've updated them for the charges. I don't need to update those for the charges, but now I'm creating some more items, and I'll be putting all the information like what they will be about. So let's start working with another one. Like we are trying to create one more item, which is 120 corporate ultra package. So again, you can create edit and new item, or edit from here and new item, or edit, sorry, right click and new item. So I'm just doing this way. So this will be my service. So I'll select service part. The name of the service is 120 corporate package. Corporate ultra package. And then Previously, we have not done this part, but now we are making directly it the sub item. So select sub item and select it as it's a corporate one. So we are making it as a corporate event. Okay. And the charges are 175. And then the income from this account will be going to corporate events. So I can just select it and corporate events. Click OK. So now you see you are making it the account and the sub item of in the right one transaction. So previously you were creating different things differently. Now what you are doing, you are making all of them in one go. So you have selected or you have created one item or service, and then you make it a sub item of your main heading. And then whatever the earning you will be getting from this one will be going to your income statement. This you can say this account. So that's how all the transactions or all the different things that we have covered in the past, like in the previous transactions one by one. Now we have done all of them together in one go. So previously we have learned how to create the items. Then we create how to mark it with our income, like income statement. And then we learn how to make it the sub item. So now we have clubbed all of those three. We have created the item. We made this one as the sub item, and then we also create the account, like what type of income it will be all together. And then you can just simply click OK. So now you can see this one is appearing as corporate ultra package under this one. So we create one more, which is for the wedding. So create new. Again, the same thing. It's a service. Item name is 220 wedding ultra package. Right. And this package will be sub item of, again, wedding. So select the wedding. Once you select this, what is the rate? Rate is 250. And then of course, whatever the income you will be earning from here will be going to your wedding income. And then click OK. Now the last part, which is Sweet 16. So again, click new account. And in this new account, it's a service account. The name of the service will be 320 Sweet 16. 320 Sweet 16 Ultra package. And then sub item of, again, we have a Sweet 16 selected. The rate is 200. And whatever the earning you will be getting from this service, you will be updating it in the Sweet 16. And then click OK. So now you have seen that all of those numbers are here available, and then you can just simply close it. So we have done how to work with this one. Only thing remain, I just want to show you, you can see all of those income are coming in the 47800, and then you can see 47820. Then it shows that it is under corporate event. Just in case, if you want to see directly what the actual head it's going, the income is going, you can always go and select the edit button, select preferences. In the preferences, you see in the accounting, you have selected for the use account numbers. So if you don't want like the entire detail of different account numbers, you can just simply say show lowest account number only and click OK. And then you see the sales income that was there has gone, and now you can only see directly that it's going to 47820, 47810, 47830. So that will simplify the look of your final account. So I just move it to the previous way as well, because this is I have done it by myself, not by the book. Click OK. So now the next topic is the next topic is about setting up users, but I'll be doing the setting up user in the last. Before doing the setting up user, I just want to go to the page number 180. And here we'll be learning how to create the invoices for the customer. So we have already learned that part before, but again, it will be a good learning. So let's do that part. So simply, if you want to create an invoice for the customer, you can just simply go to this, like there are different ways. Either you can go to the customers and then create invoices. You can also select the create invoice from your desktop. So let's say if you click create invoice, And here you are doing for the customer, which is Pasha Sabia. Pasha Sabia. And then the class is private. So this customer is doing business in a personal capacity. The terms are like date is 01/18/23, 01/18/23. And then we have the terms are net 30. And then the item we are selling is 220 wedding. So I'll be only creating one invoice, I think, because there are, I think, 3 invoices. Oh, only one invoice. Okay. So let's create this invoice and then we'll finish it. So, and then we'll start working on your computer. So 220 wedding ultra package. Quantity is 4. Description is 2 live turntables, 2 DJs, strobe light, show, photo booth, 1 hour. So we have already, rate is 275. So you see, we have similar rate as 250, but now we are changing the rate from this one to 250 to 275. And then amount is done. This is done. And then the custom message, we can choose anyone. Let's say, thank you for your business, or we appreciate your business, something, or you can customize yourself as well. Then in the memo, you can type Pasha Wedding Ultra. Wedding Ultra, and then save and close. So you have changed Pasha Surveillance Terms class. So you can see we have changed the terms. Maybe we have in the past we have done it with some other, let's say like net 15 or something. Now we have done it for net 30, or maybe there was no terms and condition, but now we are updating it. System is giving us warning that we have made some changes in the terms. So are we okay with it? So we say yes. And then the next one is the next transaction is about Sullivan. So just click the create invoice. In this one, we have this option like email later. We can check it or uncheck it. Right now for this transaction, we have to uncheck it. And then again, we have to make the customer, we have to do the transaction for Sullivan Aidan. So selected. The transaction is private customer. So select the private. And then the date was 01/2023. Invoice number is automatically. So we can just go to the terms. Terms are net 30. So I just type 3. It gives me all the things with the 3. So I just select net 30. The item I'm selecting is 210. So 210 wedding base package. So once I select it, it gave me all different description here. So how much is like how many? So 5 quantity is 5. So it give me the total value of the invoice. And then I can just say save and close. So the second invoice is created. I can update here the custom message as thank you for business. And in the memo, I can write here Sullivan wedding standard Jan. So this is not the exact word you need to type. It is something that like it depends how you want things to be easily retrievable. So in future, if you want to see whether this payment is done or not done, which transaction, let's say the customer is a regular customer, he is doing a lot of business with you. So you want to make sure that you are segregating or giving some information so that you can separate the transaction. Like this money is received against this invoice. This money is received against this invoice. So it will be making your life easy. The same way for this vendor, you paid using this check or this credit card transaction. So the memo should be so clear that you can track the transaction afterwards. So once it is done, you can just simply say save and close. So we have done another invoicing. It says you change the syllabus terms and condition. Say yes, because previously there were no terms and condition, but right now we have made it 30, net 30, and then click yes. And the last thing is we are entering one bill. So if you want to enter a bill, simply you need to click from here, or you can also go to the vendors and you can select enter bills. Right now we are doing the bills from the screen. So click and enter bills. And this one we are making a bill for NY Electric Company. So go to NY Electric Company. And then the date is 01/07/23. 01/07/23. Reference number is electric January. So we are paying the electric bill of January. And then the amount due is 175. See, because the terms was not mentioned here, it has automatically selected within 10 days. But let's say if you have selected here 30 days as per the book, now you see your payment date is changed. And then you can just type in the memo why you are paying it. It's an NY Electric January bill. And then you can just simply select that expense account. So it's your electricity expense. So you can just select it, and then you see you already created one utility bill expense, which is electric. Select it, and in the memo you can copy it from here. Always remember that this statement will be created for your expense account. So if there is nothing, you will not know why you paid this amount. So always Control C and Control V, and it will give you that why you made this payment. So once it is done, select here. We are updating some more information for the customer. Class is overhead. So you see, you can type here overhead. Click tab. If it is not there, you can always quick add and then move forward. And then save and close. You have changed the terms for NY Electric. Say yes, because previously you remember there were no terms, but we have changed it to 30 days. So now net 30. So now we have to update it. Click yes, and this bill is created. We have done the entire of the transactions. If we want to run the reports, there are different ways of running the reports. Let's say if you want to run a report, you can directly go to the, just 1 minute. The meeting window is on the top. Just wait for a few seconds. Yeah. So you can go to the reports, and then you can generate the report that you want. Let's say if you want to create your balance sheet or income statement, you can always come here. Profit and loss is there. Let's say profit and loss detail. Click OK. And then you see your report is as of today, but we are trying to make a report of as of in future date. So you can also select custom and then change the dates here, like from 1st of January 2023 to 31st of December 2023, or whatever the date you want to. But right now, because we have only done few transactions today, so I can just select all, and it gives me the profit and loss detail for the entire year. So this is how you can generate the profit and loss. You can also go to the same report in different ways. I'll just show you both the ways, but right now I just show you one more report, which is customers and receivables. Again, you can go to the reports, go to customers and receivables, and then account receivables or balance, customer balance summary, whatever the report you want to download, you can select it. Once you select it, again, either you can customize the report as of such and such date, or you can select all, and then you will see all the reports. Right now, there is nothing current because all the reports are in future dates. You can see here, all the payments are in future dates. All of these are pending in 2023. So there is nothing pending as of today. That's why it was showing no information when I created as current date. So again, no saving for us. the last thing we have is the report in a different way. So you can also go to the report using the report center. So you see, previously I went to company and financial, customers and receivables. The same way you can go to vendors and payables. Like if you want to see payable details, you can also select this one, select all. And then you can see which bill is payable on which date, right? So that's how you can go to the reports. There is one more way, which is I'm not saving any of the transactions because I don't want system to remember the reports. Meeting window is on, so I just need to wait for it. So the other way is go to the report center. You can generate the same reports one more time. How? If you want to create the company and financial reports, select it from here, profit and loss standard, profit and loss detail, the same way. And then here in that one, you are selecting date by yourself within the report, but here you can also select the date from before going into the report, like select it, all the way similar, nothing different. Once you select it, once you select the date, the fiscal year to date or whatever the date you select, let's say I select all. So I select all, and then I can just simply click run report, click OK, and then the same report is generated. So there are multiple ways of running the same report. Like either you can go to the reports and then select that specific report using the specific item. Just 1 minute. The reports, and then a respective item like either the company and financial, customers and services, sales, job times and mileage, vendors, payables. So you can report, you can generate any report from here, or you can just directly go to the reports and select report center. And again, you are in this screen, and then you can select like the company and financials, customer receivables, sales, job times. One more thing, let's say if you generate one report, like here, we have run the report, click OK. Now the report is here. You can customize the report. Let's say if you want some more item in here, you can select customize report. And then you see some of the transaction or some information is not available. Or let's say you don't want some of the information. You can always uncheck that part. Let's say you don't want the name of the customers or something. You can just uncheck it and then click the report. And now the report is without the name of the customer. If you want the name of the customer, you can again go to customize report and then select the name of the customer. So select the name of the customer and then click OK. And now you see the name of the customers are available in the report. So you can create report in multiple ways. You can also customize the report. And once you are report is ready, either you can print it or you can send it to your desktop as PDF or wherever you are saving a report. So just click save as PDF. And then you can just save the report with the name. Let's say the name of this report is profit and loss. So first is the name of the company, DJ Rhythms. Let's say if you're working for a company which is like more than one company, then DJ Rhythms is the name of the company is first. Then it is about profit and loss. And then this is detail. So just type the detail and then put the date. So it is, let's say, as of 31st of December, 2023. So you save with the date and then click save. And that's how this report will be saved in your system. And then whenever the auditor comes in or if someone asks you about the reports, you can show them that report. Like I save it in this exercise, I think on I save it in any of these reports. I save it, but I did not see where I'm saving. So I have to search for it. So yes. Here it is. So I save it in like morning class. So yeah, DJ Rhythms, profit and loss, detail, and then you can see the report is here. Let's say if someone wants to open it, so one more thing, like sometimes we make mistake, 12/31/2023. Let's say if I make a mistake in the date, right now that the report is saved, I can also change the name of the report. Let's say I want to make changes, I can also delete or add something. So right now I don't want to do it, but I just want to show you. So once I've done it, I can open this report again and then like present it to anyone. Like if the auditors are there or management want to see the report, I can always open the report and submit the report for the management. So that's how you can work with the reports. Let me stop the recording and then we start working with your screen.
Did you set the text message?
So in the previous classes, we have learned how to work with the customers, like creating customers, editing, deleting, and then doing the transaction, like invoicing. With the vendors, adding, editing, deleting, and then creating the bills and payments. Done the transaction with the banks. So now all those transactions are clubbed together in creating a company. So we are doing the same transactions again. So it's just a revision of not only creating a company, but also doing the same transactions one more time. So you don't need to be confused or scared of it. Like, we are doing a lot of things in this one. You have done all of these things before. It's only a revision of everything that we have done before. At the same time, just learning a small part of how to create a company. That's it. Otherwise, you already knew that how to work with the banks, how to work with the customers, how to work with the vendors, how to create items and services, how to create the income statement items in the chart of account, how to create assets and liabilities accounts in the chart of account. So you know all of these things already. It's
Mhm.
only revision of the entire QuickBooks in one
Okay.
place. So this is the only thing. So hopefully, like, we'll be continuing the same exercise in the next class. So yeah, see you on Wednesday.
Okay. See you Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Esperanza. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.